Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, episode 60. I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
This is our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from previous games from the previous day. How is this Wednesday afternoon, Ja?
I was chilling until I saw something that kind of threw me off and pissed me off a little bit.
Is it in relation to basketball?
Yeah.
Well, we will get to that in a minute. But I'm doing good. I had a great birthday last night, so I enjoyed myself. Even if I did stay home. Still was very relaxing. But I'm good. I hope everyone have a good day. I hope everyone will have a good day. What is so funny about that? What was funny about that?
Just go on. My bad. I'm sorry. You're an M.O.B legend, man.
Thank you, I guess. A lot happened in terms around the association from last night, including the All-Star reserves were announced last night, and we will get into that right now. As announced in the Eastern Conference, first starting off Eastern Conference, it was Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, first-time All-Star, Julius Randle, first-time All-Star. Yeah, I should probably have the list. Give me a second. Because I'm a novice. James Harden and Nikola Vucevic. So that is Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons, Julius Randle, James Harden, Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic of the Magic, taking the All-Star reserves and filling out the All-Star for the Eastern Conference. Your thoughts first on the East.
I'm happy for LaVine. You know, that's my player to watch. This was long overdue.
Actually, hold that. Before you even say that, give your All-Star reserves for the East before you give your thoughts, and then base it around that.
So the last time when we were doing these All-Star kind of situations where we was talking about the starters, I couldn't really gather my thoughts. So I'm just gonna go straight into it instead of I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say my names, and I'm gonna also give honorable.
Yeah, just do that because it's already announced anyway. So just do that.
So for my reserves for the East, I had LaVine, Brown, Tatum, Trey, Sabonis, Randle, and Harden. Honorable mentions were Sexton, Brogdon, Drummond, Hayward, Grant, Adebayo, Vucevic, and Westbrook.
Interesting. I guess I'll go over mine. My All-Star reserves. My All-Star reserves, I believe, was the exact same. Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Jason Tatum, Julius Randle, Domantas Sabonis, and Trey Young. I think it's the same list, right?
Yeah, that is the same list.
Same exact carbon copy. Now give your thoughts on the East.
I no disrespect to Vucevic, but Sabonis, the Indiana are 4th or 5th in the conference. He's been fourth in the conference. He's been dominating the front line for majority of the season. And no disrespect to Vucevic, I know he's been putting up star numbers himself when you look at the individual performances between the two. But the Magic are nowhere near. Well, let me not say nowhere near because, the
East,
of course, but in the East, but just 12.
Sabonis
is supposed to be over Vucevic. The fact that he had gotten overlooked for some weird and odd reason, even when we spoke about him so many times, like us two individuals, we spoke about him so many times. So many people that spoke about him in throughout the league so many times, putting up great performances and everything. I don't know how Sabonis got overlooked or how he got passed up. I just really don't know. It really don't make no kind of sense to me. And no disrespect to Simmons, also, even though he has picked up the stride lately, he has been highly inconsistent. I know the Sixers are number one in the conference and everything, but yet, and he of course has a good amount to do with it, but it has been mainly Embiid and has a lot to do with the new system that the Sixers got in place.
So help from Tobias Harris.
With the help of Tobias Harris also, who's also averaging, I believe, around 20. Like, so, and there's no disrespect to Ben, but when you look at, again, individual performances, I'm just saying, like, no disrespect, but I feel like Trae Young, Brogdon deserved has had a better reason to be in the All-Star game over you. And that's no disrespect to you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course, no respect. Well, one, first you said we've been talking about a lot, but yeah, it's like we have so much pull in the NBA. That's one. Nobody knows us. And even if they did, we still wouldn't have pull. So that's one. But two, to give my thoughts on the East, I'm in 100% agreement with you about Sabonis. I feel like him and Vucevic stats, if you just want to look at stacks and be box score watchers, they're around the same production level. Vucevic averaging 24 and 11, Sabonis averaging 21 and 11 with 6 assists. So now put that into context, along with Sabonis being the best player on the Pacers and being their leader and leading them to the 4th seed in the East.
Yeah.
And yet the Magic have been bad and inconsistent throughout the season, and they're 12th in the East.
Exactly.
And now I bring up the argument of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has been playing great basketball as of late, especially. And now I've thought about it a lot, and now I'm understanding more and more why he gotten an All-Star nod. He is very balanced in his game in terms of that he can do a lot. Rebounding, scoring, passing, of course. He's averaging around 8 rebounds, 8 assists. And also, he's one of the best defenders in the league in terms of the guard position.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not talked about enough. And now that I thought about that and actually reflecting on that, I'm like, that actually kind of makes more sense now looking back at it. So I'm not as upset as I was initially about Ben Simmons getting the nod. But I believe that Trae Young still should have gotten it over him. I mean, Trae Young is averaging around almost 27 and 10. How do you average around 27 and 10 and don't make an All-Star team? I just don't understand that. Yeah, the Hawks has been terrible. But then, this is what I mean. This All-Star system is so flawed. Like, if you want to base it off of individual stats, okay, have Vucevic over Sabonis, but have Trae Young over Simmons. If you want to base it off a team, have Simmons over Trae Young, but have Sabonis over Vucevic. It doesn't make sense. Those two don't correlate.
Exactly. And again, in my opinion, I felt like Brogdon had more of a deserving reason to be over Simmons. With the things he has done for the Pacers, being that common floor general, helping lead that team right alongside the fact that it's being ran by Sabonis at times. He's the reason why, outside of Sabonis, most of the games that Indiana has won, he has helped dig them out the hole with his leadership and his ability to score.
Yeah, I can see that. But again, I feel like Ben Simmons is overlooked a lot in terms of everything else that he can do. Everybody just focuses on what he can't do.
Yeah.
But all the things he can do he's really good at. Like really good at, probably better than the average player.
Yeah. And I'm not going against that. I'm just saying, if you look at everything, when I look at these things and I look at individual performances, everything, I take account of totality so far prior to of course, the All-Star break even happening or these reserve picks or whatsoever happening. And I'm just saying, Brogdon has been doing this since the beginning. Whereas Simmons, don't get me wrong, he's still putting up triple doubles and everything, but his numbers have been all across the board. He didn't look aggressive. Well, of course, when you looked at him play at times, Brogdon always looked sharp, focused, and into the game at all times. And I'm not disrespecting Ben Simmons. I'm just saying, based on what I've seen both of them through from the beginning. So as of now, talking about it, Brogdon has always been there or probably a little bit over Simmons until as of recently.
Yeah, I see your point, and I can't argue with that. But as for the rest of the East, the reserves, I can't argue with that. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, James Harden, Zach LaVine finally getting an All-Star nod after being snubbed last year. Julius Randle in his 7th season. I don't think people understand that. His 7th year. You know how hard it is for you to work yourself up, build yourself up to get into the level where he's playing at right now in your 7th season. That is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And yet he's done that and he's doing that and he's leading the Knicks and he's their best player and he deserves all the credit in the world for everything that he's doing. So most definitely all-star. So not really much clear about anybody else on the list, just because it's got to be a debate between Vucevic, Sabonis, and to me, Trae Young and Simmons. To you, Brogdon, Trae Young, and Simmons. Now to the West. The Western Conference All-Stars reserves. Anthony Davis, he's probably not going to make the game, so he's probably going to be replaced by somebody. We'll keep you updated who his replacement is. Paul George, Zion Williamson getting his first All-Star, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Chris Paul. What is your All-Star reserves before we go into,
For the West, I had Lillard, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Paul George, Ingram, and CP3. And that's the honorable mention: Zion, De'Aaron Fox, AD, DeRozan.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing, well, you don't have AD on your list. I'm guessing because of the injury.
Yes, because of injury.
Well, let me go over mine. Mine is Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Anthony Davis. I had him because he is an all-star up until the injury. And also have his replacement, which I will get to in a second. Rudy Gobert, Zion Williamson, and his replacement for me would be Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how I look. But your thoughts on this All-Star reserve? Somebody is missing that we both have on our list that's not on the All-Star team. I wonder who that is.
Hey,
but
look,
yeah,
you talked about this being so flawed and everything, man. I don't know how I don't know how much this man could do at this point. I seen the list and I said, good Lord, good Lord, good Lord. What does this man have to do? I feel like he has done everything right now from individual performance. And as of this season, he has done it from individual performance and winning to be an all-star. And yet he has not been truly chosen yet for this all-star game. And that is Devin Booker. Devin Booker has been putting up numbers after numbers after numbers each and every time, in and out each and every season. And this year, his numbers actually correlate with winning with a lot of the talent that he's got, thanks to that guy who did make the All-Star nod, Chris Paul, and a lot of the other things of the system being now more ran around him, of course, like it has been. But yet now they're winning games, and yet he has, outside of the injury replacement of last year, he has not truly been named an all-star at all. There's no true name to his, there's no true all-star. How you put it? Like he hasn't been
voted either for the fans or from the coaches.
Which I don't know how, as a coach, being the NBA, you overlook him. He's in the high percentile of great talents in the NBA right now. You could he's better than probably like 85 to 90% of the guys in this game when you look at offensive talent and one-on-one skill. How does he get overlooked once again? This doesn't make no sense to me. And along with the fact that he's winning, it just doesn't go with me. It rubs me the wrong way, big time.
I'm in 100% agreement with you. I don't understand it. I really can't even think, like, how can you not vote Devin Booker into the All-Star game? Things he's been doing this season. I mean, he's the leader of the Suns. Well, Chris Paul is the leader, but he's the best player of the Suns. He's there. He's an elite scorer. He can do it all offensively instead of scoring the basket. He can be cold-blooded when he needs to. He can hit tough shots, hit three-pointers. He can post you up. He can attack the rim. Shoot the top of the key, shooting the wing, the corner. Like, I don't understand how Devin Booker isn't an all-star. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't know what is the problem. I don't know why these coaches hate him. And to me, I would have put him over Chris Paul. To me.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to just overlook Chris Paul. I started to understand more about why he got picked. He got put on the Suns. He got traded to the Suns, and he's been an instant impact for them, instant positive impact for them. The mentality he brings, the leadership he brings, the experience and veteran leadership that he brings has helped them to where they are right now. They are fourth in the Suns, and they fourth in the Western Conference. And obviously, they don't get fourth in the Western Conference without him.
Yeah.
So I understand the impact that he does. I understand the communication he has and how he brings everyone together, and the mentality he has, the defensive anchor that he is, the floor general that he is, along with the scoring ability that he can provide when he needs to. So I understand all that. But Devin Booker is their best player. If you want somebody from the Suns, you get the best player. He is their best player.
Exactly. And at this point, this just like what you said, he'd probably be an injury replacement for AD. And that's the reason why I didn't have AD, because the injury just came up as of recent. And I think he was truly going to get it. But yes, he is an all-star. But it's just like, that's disrespectful towards him. Have him as an injury replacement. I don't care if they say, oh, he made the all-star. No, that's not a true pick. That's not a true pick.
It would be funny if they picked Brandon Ingram over him for injury replacement. Adam Silver. Oh, by the way, if any unknowing injury replacement is picked by the commissioner of the NBA, which is Adam Silver.
Now he may never see, just like what you said, Adam Silver may end up picking Ingram for real. So he may never ever get a chance to be in the All-Star game. And this is highly.
Well, he was in the All-Star game last year, but I see what you're saying.
Yes, but yes, he was in the All-Star game last year, but that's injury replacement. That means that they probably had you in mind, but yet they had you over the 12 other people that was already chosen, which is highly disrespectful, because he's supposed to already been chosen from somebody since last year, or I said 2 seasons ago, because he's been that offensively dominant individually for the past 2 to 3 seasons now. But at this point, I don't know what to say. It is what it is, and I feel bad for him, big time.
Yeah, I don't understand it. For the rest of the list, can't complain. Damian Lillard, obviously. Donovan Mitchell, obviously. Paul George, I mean, come on now. We've been proving critics wrong this entire season. Rudy Gobert, of course. Him and Donovan Mitchell have been leading the Jazz, best record in the West. I mean, best record in the NBA. Zion Williamson, I believe it could have been a debate between him and Brandon Ingram. It feels like every other game, both of them are dropping like 30.
Yeah.
So I feel like could have been debate by where I picked Zion ahead of him, because Zion is a great defender. He's a great rebounder as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he had the edge over Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, and I feel like he has in my opinion, I feel like he has a little bit more of an impact than Ingram on the course of the game.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But yeah, those are our All-Star reserves, and those are the official All-Star reserves. A lot of discussion, a lot of debates, a lot of controversy, but what can you do? It's always going to be like that every year with the All-Star game.
Yeah, the NBA need to get it together, man. There should be no All-Star this season, man. Cut it off. Cut it off. Big time.
Okay, Bron. All right. Now let's get into what this podcast is actually for. That is recapping the games from the previous nights. So let's start off with the game of the night, the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. And this was a competitive game. Both teams keeping it close within each other, back and forth affair. Fast running to that fourth quarter. I mean, it really was close up until the fourth quarter midway when the Mavericks were on a 14-2 run and were up double digits against the Celtics with 3 minutes left. And then next thing you know, Kemba Walker hits a three. Foul. 4-point play.
Okay. Yeah.
Jason Tatum hits a three. Kemba Walker hits another three. Next thing you know, they're down by one.
Then Jaylen Brown.
Then Jaylen Brown attacks the rim. He gets a tough layup, and they're up by one with around 30 seconds to go. Now it's Luka's show. Luka dancing step back on Daniel Tice. 3. Good. They're up by 2. Next best for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown does the same thing. Ties the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mavericks, cool, calm, collected, doesn't panic. Don't rush. Get the ball to Luka. Luka takes the ball up the court, goes to the left side, his spot where he hit the same shot from in the bubble, if you remember, the buzzer beater on Reggie Jackson in the playoffs to win that game. Goes around that same shot. Step back, 3 in the game winner against the Celtics team. Cold-blooded, the Don, Luka, with the game-winning shot against the Celtics team to beat them. Wow, what a performance. What a back-to-back clutch shots from him. What else can you say about Luka?
Yeah, man. You basically just said it all right there. Like, you know, to me, it looked like the toss was going to change. It looked like the Celtics had momentum with those big shots down the stretch. And let's give a lot of credit because Jalen Brunson had a lot to do with that Mavericks run in the fourth quarter too. He came alive. But yet, you know, as I like to call him, Don Luca Corleone, like, you know, he had to come a big time. I just knew it. He hit, I believe he hit a what was it before this game winning shot, the shot that he made. It was from
Daniel Tice.
Yeah, on Daniel Tice. It was the right wing thing. Yeah, they switched out on him. They did multiple.
Yeah, and it was a step back on the top of the key, top of the 3-point line.
Yep, and then that's when you knew he was just cooking from right then and there. You knew something was going to be brewing a little bit if they had an opportunity to get the final possession. And the moment he got to his sweet spot, I saw a little bit of space, and I knew he was going to make it. I just felt it. He had enough space to let it go. It was a bad shot. Let me stop. But like, you know, he made it.
Come on, don't do that. Paul George already having flashbacks of that shot of Luka's shot from last year. So yeah, well, as you were saying,
but yeah, he got to his sweet spot. He got to his common spot, and I just knew for a fact that he was gonna make it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that's a tough loss for the Celtics. They really fought hard. Fought their way back to get into the game, led by their 3 stars. I mean, all the names that I mentioned in that run, was Walker, Tatum, and Brown.
Yes.
And I mean, what else can you ask for? But I mean, got to play defense,
which was not played throughout this whole game.
Yeah, especially from that Celtics side.
Yeah.
So yeah, a tough loss for the Celtics, who's been struggling as we have noted.
Yeah.
But a good win for the Mavericks, who are now at 500. All right. The other primetime game of the night was the Portland Trailblazers up against the Denver Nuggets. And this was also a really fun and entertaining game, even though Murray and Lillard were struggling early in the get-go. Nikola Jokic was not. And I mean, this man's ability to just do it all and then score, even though he's tall and awkward and slow, is ridiculous. Once he gets into that middle lane, like around the free throw line, when he's facing the basket, he's unstoppable.
Yeah, and that all has to do because of the fact that, believe it or not, this is an underrated part of his game, but he has really good footwork. Yeah, I mean, it was just
he was just lighting up Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter really needed help. He couldn't really do anything. Well, on to the game. The Nuggets got out to an early lead, but Trailblazers, led by Carmelo Anthony, as I said, because Lillard was struggling, Melo got hot in that second quarter. I believe he had 18 points in that second quarter,
Yeah.
and he led the Trailblazers out in front of the Nuggets around that time. And then a back and forth issued around between the Nuggets and the Blazers. On that third quarter, Lillard started to get it going, hitting some threes, hitting some big shots for them. Then in that fourth quarter, it was Murray's time. And Murray shined like just how he shined in the bubble, coming back alive. I feel like throughout the game, especially in that third quarter, he was struggling with his shoulder. I feel like he got hurt or something.
Yeah, he did get hurt. I forgot what happened. I think it was altercation, like a little bit of a hit, I believe, and then
I think on the screen.
Yeah, on one of the screens.
So yeah, and but even before that, he was really struggling throughout the game. He really couldn't hit shots. But then that fourth quarter hit, and man, Jamal Murray just caught fire. Exactly. I mean, no matter who was on him, Lillard, Melo, Kanter. Well, of course, Kanter. You know, he can't guard Murray. That's a nightmare. He couldn't guard Jokic.
Exactly. That's it. That's barbecue chicken.
Yeah. And no matter who you put on Jamal Murray, he was hitting 19 points in that fourth quarter. And because of the strength of him, of the strength of Jokic throughout the entire game, who dropped 44, carrying the load for the first three quarters, they was able to beat this Trailblazers team in a tough win.
Yeah. Yeah, not really much to say right there. You said it all. A dynamic duo between those two, big man, little men. Just get. I always say Jokic may be their best player, but trust me, when Jamal Murray's in that mode, in that focus mode, he is their closer. He is their closer, and when he has his shot going, he's being aggressive and he's doing what he does with the ball in his hands. It's hard to stop him. Yeah. I felt like the Blazers when I had this game, if Lillard was hot early and he continued to stay hot, just like how he came up in the end, because Carmelo Anthony, as great of a talent and as a Hall of Famer as he is, like he couldn't, he wouldn't have been able to do it all, and it was balanced scoring between the Blazers, but you need your star there. You need your star there big time.
Mm-hmm. Or you need a really well against this team like the Nuggets, yeah. So they needed the Lillard, especially with Jokic just having a monster night like he did, and then Murray catching fire late. Yeah, you needed your star step up. But nonetheless, great win by this Nuggets team, hitting a little bit of their stride despite the injuries that they have suffered. But all right. A few other games that happen around the league. Anything that you'd like to discuss? Anything like you like to go over? Let you speak.
Yeah, the Kings versus Nets. To keep this quick and brief. The Nets had a big lead going into going in through the first quarter. And then the Kings started to make a little bit of a run in which they made the game close, and then it was just like a back and forth exchange in the third quarter, in which the Kings actually took the lead at one point, but then the Nets being the Nets, like that lead did not last for long, and they just went on a huge run down in the fourth quarter to end the game. It was balanced scoring from all around from the Kings side of things, like from especially Halliburton, the rookie. He had a really good game. Fox, even though he didn't put up much in the score, well, he did put up a good amount, but not as of his standard. But he did have a good game. Rashawn Holmes, Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield, it was all scoring contribution from everyone. But also, it was still the same thing for the Nets, and I think Bruce Brown also had a really good game. So, just good job, but a good win by the Nets. It was obvious, given that, of course, when they get it going, especially down the line, that they was going to get to it.
Yep, great one by the Nets, and I also like to see James Harden and Kyrie Irving giving the little young rookie advice in that after the game. It was nice to see from a veteran standpoint. But yeah, good win by the Nets.
Yes.
Any other game that you would like to speak on?
Also, the Cavs versus
The 0-10 Cavs against the Atlanta Hawks.
And let's just say, to me, this was mainly like mostly a back and forth. Like, no true team had like, a huge wide margin of game. It was either one game momentum and then the other game momentum at the same time or whatsoever. And it was just came in spurts or whatsoever. But down the stretch, I believe, I don't remember if the Hawks were up or they was down, but all I know, Trae Young throws up I believe he got a layup. And then, he throws up a lob to Capella. And then I believe Colin Sexton finished on the other end. And then it was a one possession game. The Hawks were up by one. And I believe Sexton attacks. He passes to, I don't know his name. I forgot his name.
Got you. I got you. Passed it to Stevens.
Yeah, I think
Lamar
that's
Stevens.
Lamar Stevens. Yes, he passed it to Lamar Stevens. Stevens had a clear lane to attack the basket, and he did it with a dunk. And then it was like an error. And the moment the Hawks got it, it was like an error on Trae Young's part. He messed up his time management because he basically dribbled out, and by the time he passed it to his teammate, the clock ran out. And as a result, the Cavs were able to end their 10-0 streak, and now they're 1-11. So,
yep, the Cavs now 1-11 in their last 11 games. But a good gutsy win by them, nonetheless.
Yes, good.
All right. Quickly, the Knicks and the Warriors did play, of course. Fans now allowed back into the arena. So they were cheering for Julius Randle, of course, getting that all-star nod. It was fun to hear him giving him an MVP chance and all that. So it was a good experience with the fans being in there. And, of course, Stephen Curry was in the house. And boy, was he lighting the Knicks up like it was 2012 when he first got his real recognition around the league. He really couldn't stop him. I mean, 37 from him on the night, and he was just, no matter what point on the floor, no matter who it was, that high pick and roll is so hard to guard with the Warriors. I mean, because if you play up too much, he's just gonna attack, and he's really underrated in the paint that people don't really speak about a lot.
Yeah.
And if you don't press up, he will shoot it and he will make it. So really,
it's not even probably he'll make it. Is that he will make it?
Yeah, he will make it. So the best bet to guard Stephen Curry is really I feel like double team him at half court, or he just has to have an off night, and that's out of your control.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, the Knicks still play really great basketball. Julius Randle, I mean, the all-star, had a great game. Elfrid Payton, he stepped up. D Rose hit some big shots, thriving back in New York. Fun to watch him play and all that. But the Warriors, they had that, that little switch in that third quarter, hit their little stride, had a little run. But that did not stop the Knicks. They battled all the way back after being down double digits and being down in that fourth quarter. Came back and tied the game, I believe. And I think they took the lead.
Yeah.
As this Warriors team. But then the Warriors started clicking. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that James Wiseman is back? In his return game, I mean, the Knicks could not stop the backdoor cuts to save their life. Every time, Wiseman was just cutting to the basket off the back door, and the Warriors are finding him. Easy layups, easy dunks. I mean, they had 14 coming off the bench, and now they missed them, and you see why they missed them. He brings a lot to the table for the Warriors.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, in that fourth quarter, it was the Warriors coming out with the win with the strength of Curry, hitting big time shots, off the strength of their ball movement and their balanced offense and their balanced scoring. And tough loss by the Knicks. They played well. They played with heart, getting back to the game, but a great win by the Warriors.
Yeah. Yep.
But all right. Quickly news. real quick news before we go into predictions. DeMarcus Cousins was officially cut. It is not a rumor. He was officially cut until it's announced tomorrow. Steven Silas says that it's a rumor. But yeah, he's been released from the Houston Rockets. It's tough. It's sad. But hopefully you'll find a home. Hopefully you find a good home from a championship caliber team. Hopefully he can help them contribute and get push for the playoffs.
Oh, probably
push for a chip.
Yeah. Oh, probably you just dream. It's just rumors.
I don't know why he said that. People need to stop leaking. Stop talking to Shams and Woj. Keep secrets. Can y'all keep secrets in your organization?
No, they cannot.
Jeez. But yeah, that's the news. Mark's Cousins released. Hopefully he finds a new home soon. But all right. It is prediction time for tonight's set of games. So let's start off first with the first primetime game of the night, featuring the Golden State Warriors up against the Indiana Pacers. Who you got?
Golden State.
Golden State as well. The Celtics or the Hawks?
Celtics.
The Rockets or the Cavs?
Cavs. I mean Rockets.
I got the Cavs. 2-12. Raptors and the Heat.
Heat.
Raptors. The Timberwolves or the Bulls?
Timberwolves.
Bulls. The Pistons or the Pelicans?
Pels.
The Spurs or the Thunder?
Spurs.
Playing their first game in I don't know how long due to the postponement of all the games because of COVID.
Yeah.
Finally, it'll be fun seeing them back. The Hornets or the Suns? Also the Hornets. Same
Suns.
The Suns. And lastly, the last primetime game of the night and the last game of the night. The defending champions, Los Angeles Lakers, struggling though, going up against the red hot Utah Jazz. It would have been fun to see both teams healthy, but we just gotta deal with what we got. But all right, I think it's time to wrap things up. Any final thoughts? Longer episode than usual.
Yeah, all I gotta say is Devin Booker's gonna go off tonight.
He should. He should drop 70, but this time get the win.
He's gonna drop 1,000 probably.
Still lose. And then hold up the 1,000 thing. Like, come on, man. But yeah, he's got to go off. Sabonis, you got to go off as well.
Yeah.
As I see, I'm starting to think we've been sleeping on Vucevic. Like, I know he's been having those all-star numbers that he's having. I know he's been playing great, but I still feel like Sabonis is the right answer, is the way. And that man, I believe, should have been the way as well. But as I said, I'm not as upset as I was earlier because Simmons is a great player, and I think he is all-star worthy.
Yes, he is.
All right. With that being said, thank you guys for watching today's pod. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Also follow IG down in the description below.
And once again, I am Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this was the Mind of Basketball Podcast.